The following program is sponsored by Happy Science.
Hello, and thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. Ryuho Okawa is known as a global visionary because of his deep spiritual insight and commitment to guide the world to a brighter future. To accomplish this, he founded Happy Science Group in 1986, which is now a global movement in over 100 countries. His vision and message to the world goes beyond the differences of race and language, empowering people with love. Together, in this 8-part series, we will explore practical ways on how you can be happy and how you can take part in creating happiness as a society. Perhaps some of you may wonder, now more than ever, whether there is a God out there. The amount of pain and suffering in the world may leave us wondering and feeling hopeless at times. Is He listening? Materialism and atheism is on the rise, and it doesn't help to know that evil is too. Is there perhaps a connection? Today's program will be more of a macro perspective on life, exploring God's presence amidst the chaos. Can we understand the will of God as people of planet Earth? Or will we continue to fight for who's right or wrong? Before we go any further, let's ask the people in New York if they believe God is listening.
He always is. Always. I know He is.
All the time, of course. He's always listening.
Yes, I think he's or she is aware of everything. And the question is, are we aware of what he knows we could have? Peace on earth, heaven on earth. It's possible, it's not enough of us know it, but God wants that for us. I'm convinced.
Always. God's always listening. He's listening to us now. I hope I'm representing well.
How about you? Do you think God is listening? Let's watch a lecture from Okawa that gives some new perspectives on the will and existence of God.
You're all probably aware that the book, The Laws of Justice, has been published as the year comes to an end. I believe this book will become the North Star and the power that will guide this country next year. I'm currently preaching what the world needs. The world needs someone to teach the people what is right. Currently, various religions across the world are causing chaos. There's even religious war going on at certain parts of the world. In other places, there are battles between religion and atheism or materialism. There's never been a time as important as now to teach what's true. I'm not the type of person who would completely agree to such conflicts and war. However, if the reason why they're causing such conflicts is because they don't know what is right, then my job is to teach them this. That is what I believe. If the one who's been leading humankind since the beginning of the heavens and the earth indicated, think about this problem in this way. The future lies in this direction. And if everyone agreed to it, then worldly and trivial matters would disappear. What we must indicate now is the following. We must let many people know that the spiritual power of enlightenment is something that goes one level above worldly things, such as academic righteousness or researchable righteousness. We must let them know now that a higher level of righteousness exists above scientific and journalistic methods or the modern principle of determining the truth after doubting, 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 and more doubting. Right now, all of you have a very, very important job to do. What is this important job? There needs to be a reason in establishing or preaching the laws of justice. The reason why I preach the laws of justice now is to build the world we can believe in. We have the right to live in the world that we can believe more in. Only believing in things that can be seen, touched, or that have to do with our body is a very sad thing. What's more, there are many religions that take the form of a religion, but have forgotten their true mission. For example, a very difficult problem lies in the issue of Islam. Of course, the majority of the world supports the airstrikes, and I believe this will end the war. However, although they're Christian countries, they're not following the teachings of Christ. They're following the rules that humans made in this world. On the other hand, the people being attacked are believers of Islam. Bombs and missiles fall on people who are praying towards Allah. How does God see this? It's natural for human beings to think of this question. Please keep in mind a premise concerning this. Don't see everything as if it concludes within this world. This value system is what is missing, even in many religious areas across the world. The world has become too convenient. The world has become wealthier. This is why there's heavy emphasis on materialistic inventions, materialistic science, practical studies, and practical work theory. Looking at faith, Christianity exists only at churches. Islam repeatedly continues to fight in primitive ways, shedding much blood, just as the founder, Muhammad, and his successors did in establishing the religion. What's their purpose? They must think about this again. Many battles were fought when Moses led the Exodus and reached Canaan. Much blood were shed when Jesus conducted his activities centered around what is now Israel. Rome was causing many wars at the time too. Islam was founded 600 years after that. Even then, many battles were fought between the same tribe. Then, a new religion was established and older gods were destroyed. Many things happened. If you look only at the worldly phenomena, it's understandable for some people to think they would be much happier not believing in a religion. However, I dare say unto all of you, it's definitely true that there were people in the ancient times, such as 3,000, 2,500, 2,000, and 1,400 years ago, who heard the voice of God and preached the teachings. But you must keep in mind that the ones who heard the voice of God heard it in their own perspective. They heard the teachings and spread them in their own position for the good of their own people, as a prophet or Messiah of a country or a tribe. Now, the world is larger, transportation is minute, and communication can reach the other side of the world. Many people don't think that God preached the teachings mainly for their own tribe, people, or ethnic group. Instead, they interpret the phrase, "You shall have no other gods before me," to mean different things. They think it means believe only in our tribe's God, or the God that leads our tribe or ethnic group is the only true God. So deny all other gods because they're fakes. This is how many people interpret erroneously. But don't forget the era and region in which those religions were taught.
As Okawa states, currently various religions across the world are clashing and amidst chaos. Now more than ever, the world needs to know what is right and what is true. But we can't take everything as if it concludes within this world and time. We have to let people know that a higher level of righteousness exists above the scientific and journalistic methods to define righteousness. It is a fact that the prophets or messiahs of long ago all heard the voice of God and all have preached the teachings of God. However, we must keep in mind that they heard it in their own perspective, based on their understanding, and preached the teachings for the good of their own people. We must not forget that these teachings were subject to the limitation of the era and the regions in which they lived. Let's continue with more from the lecture To the World We Can Believe In.
Also, in Chapter 1 of the Laws of Justice, it refers to an incident depicted in a movie, how even in a Christian country, America, you can't take a course at a university, get good grades, and become successful unless you sign a paper that says you don't believe in God. This is shown in a movie where there's a course everyone is required to take, and a Christian student goes against signing a class contract because he can't write "God is dead." From there, he debates with the professor. I wrote about this in the book. Even in America, this is the current state of academics. Especially in science, there are many cases where it completely overturns the teachings of Christianity. For example, Professor Stephen Hawking, theoretical physicist, denies God. He says he can't believe that God created the universe. Richard Dawkins says that the true identity of the soul is the DNA. He says that DNA reincarnates and transfers from the parent to the child, and from the child to the grandchild. He says that this cycle of DNA itself is a reincarnation of the soul. It's so foolish that it's ridiculous. However, at universities, if you don't believe in this and write this as your answer, you won't be able to graduate as a top student or get a job. Even in a Christian country, this is becoming the mainstream. That's why there are battles happening everywhere. Some are told it's fine to have belief at the church, it's fine to have belief at home, but this is a university, so don't bring your faith. Don't bring anything that has no proof. And they're asked to sign a paper before they take the course. This is done to teach agnosticism or atheism. Majority of philosophers in this age are atheists. So in order to teach their ideologies, they need to have their students write that they deny God. Then, they get A's and proceed to higher education, get a good job, have a good marriage, and build a happy family. Would this ultimately bring them true happiness? Could you truly be happy by living in ways that go against the truth? Do you really think you deserve respect or are praiseworthy for leading a life, having scientific knowledge, or receiving education by being arrogant enough to deny God? Whether it's the world's top class and prestigious university, what's wrong is wrong. A lie is a lie. I'm saying there's a limit as to how far you can go on teaching things that shouldn't be taught. Please know that this doesn't mean faith is behind and education is ahead. Academic studies may be done using parts of our brain. But faith is something you accept wholeheartedly and feel through your senses. Faith is what you accept and feel through your body, your soul, and the entire spirit. Therefore, faith is sacred. Although academic studies can be included as a part of faith, I would like you to know that faith is not something small that exists within academic studies. It's a big mistake to believe that religion is a practical activity that exists minimally in religious studies. Everything exists and is active on top of the great palm of God or Buddha. Faith harbors the earth, the solar system, the Milky Way, and the countless number of galaxies that exist far beyond. The many civilizations going through rise and falls in those galaxies, and all animate things living there, as well as what they create and think about. From the viewpoint of modern medical science, most religions will be categorized as a world they cannot believe in. If you look at it medically, illness won't be cured. Humans all die or get ill. Miracles don't happen. This is common knowledge in the medical textbook. But within this common knowledge, many miracles are happening, even now. Many miracles are happening in and around our organization. God is not dead. God is alive. He is alive. He is working. If the common knowledge is wrong, then we'll just crush it, that's all. When? This year? Next year? In 5 years? In 10 years? After we die? No. We don't even have the time to think about this. Each and every one of you must shine the torch within your mind. You have the task of carrying the torch and walking in the dark night. Every one of you is given this light. The light you've received from me will surely light up your torch. With that light as your guide, please continue to move forward in the midst of the dark night. There will be no end to your work until you light up all the darkness in the world. There are people starving in the world. There are people suffering from illness. There are people going through many hardships. There are such sufferings, hardships, and adversities. But that doesn't mean God doesn't exist. God is needed because there are so many people living in such hardships, and God does exist. please return to your starting point and begin by believing. The starting point is to believe. And the final destination is to have full and absolute faith. We begin by believing. And the ultimate goal is to continue to believe until the very end. What does having absolute faith mean in this world? Please demonstrate this in your thoughts, your words, and your actions.
There are two groups in this world. One is believing God and believing Buddha nature or divine nature of human rights. And the other part of the groups of this world deny the God, deny God, Buddha, angels, and afterward they can think only this world. And materialistic dictatorship is very dangerous. It will not lead people happy world. So I want to say the United States of America should be the United States of America. America should be America. America should do like Americans have been done. These countries depend on decision of the Mr. President of the United States. So they or he must be a decision maker of the world. They must keep world peace, world justice. I just want the people of the future become happier and happier. In my dream, our children can enjoy real spiritual happiness, and in all the countries, all the people, all the children can perceive this real spiritual happiness. It is my desire. We don't have enough time. We must change in these several years. We must decide what is right and what is wrong. Thank you very much.
Even in America, the academics have become too materialistic, denying faith and denying things that can't be proven with modern science. However, God is like the sun. There can be cloudy days, and even though we can't see the sun, we know that it is there above the clouds. God is alive. God is not silent. And God desires to realize the happiness of all people. We can achieve that by deepening our mutual understanding and making better decisions by carefully considering what needs to be done.
If you'd like to learn more about Okawa and the teachings of happy science, visit invitationtohappiness.org or call us at 1-800-710-7777. Here at New York Temple, you will find all of Okawa's publications and video lectures. We are here to support you in building a bright future. Come join us for weekly Sunday workshops and weekday guided meditation sessions. Your happiness is our mission.
Thank you for watching and accepting our invitation to happiness.
We hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please stay tuned for Season 2 of Invitation to Happiness. Through this program, We give you tips and answers to various problems and questions you may have in life. Thank you for watching and see you next week.
Why do we continue to live in a world of turmoil when we all wish to live in peace and harmony? The laws of justice has brought together religious, spiritual, political, and economic reasoning to bring the world together. Win your free copy of The Laws of Justice. Visit okawabooks.com for details.
Basically, this book tells everything. It elaborates on the origins of not only the soul, but the spirits, the mind, love. It incorporates everything that I never had dreamed about. It explains basically everything about human history and everything that humans really want to know about.
Why are we here? How do we find happiness? What is the nature of the soul? Imagine if life's questions could be answered. Imagine if we could understand God's designs and intentions and discover more than our life goals, but also how to attain them. In The Laws of the Sun, Ryuho Okawa shows us the universal spiritual laws and how we can live in harmony with them. Learn how our thoughts influence reality, the nature of love, and the guiding principles on the path to enlightenment. This is a book with answers to life's questions for all in search of spiritual growth. From an author who writes to unite humankind in peace and harmony. The Laws of the Sun. Available now.
The preceding program was sponsored by Happy Science.